Congratulations on the purchase of your new Carousel USA Surface Mounted Turntable, and welcome to this video, a step-by-step guide to help you correctly assemble your turntable. Before we get started, you'll need 2 people to install the turntable and a few essential items. These are an impact driver with sockets, an impact socket extension, as well as an 8-inch masonry drill bit. You'll also need an angle grinder, a hammer drill, a spanner, metric T-handled Allen wrenches, a drive torque wrench, and a grease gun. You'll find a pin spacer jig already included in the package. You will also find this list along with all the numbered turntable parts in the instruction manual. Before we get started, it is important as you unpack all of the turntable parts to inspect them carefully and to make sure they've arrived safely and undamaged. Once you've done this, we're ready to get started. For your convenience, each of the following steps match exactly with the instruction manual. The first step is to choose an installation site that is flat and can handle the weight, and be sure to clear away any unwanted objects. Once you've done this, place the center bearing plate in the center of where you want the turntable to be located. Now it's time to start laying out the track parts. As you do this, it is important to locate the outer track motor location plate and place it on the opposite side from where you'll be photographing the vehicle so that it's hidden. After you've laid out the remaining parts, loosely fasten, but don't tighten them, using the M8 by 16 mm screws with the M8 lock washers. Once the track is fully connected together, it's safe to tighten all the screws. With the track now fully assembled, use the anchors to secure the center bearing assembly. This is essential to keep the position of the turntable and prevent damage to the motor. We also recommend anchoring the perimeter of the tracks using the same anchors. This will help firmly hold the tracks to uneven ground and prevent unwanted noise during rotation. As you do this, it is essential to cut and to remove any exposed anchor threads. If threads are not cut properly, the stud will interfere with the turntable and damage the unit. Now it's time to lay the pie pieces on top of the tracks, aligning them with a center bearing mounting hole. It is essential that you arrange the pie pieces by number in a counterclockwise fashion. This is crucial for proper alignment. Once the pie pieces are correctly positioned, fasten them using the M10 by 20 mm screws with an M10 split lock washer, like this. Be sure to leave them loose for now so they can be adjusted. With all the pie pieces now in place, insert the M10 by 140 mm bolt through the side of the pie and secure it with an M10 nylon insert lock nut with 2 oversized washers on each bolt. Fasten them, but leave them loose for now. Repeat this for each of the remaining pie pieces. Using the pen jig spacer tool provided with the unit, you can connect the pie pieces at the seams located along the perimeter of the turntable. This attaches to the underside of the turntable with the M10 by 16 mm using a M10 split lock washer. Once again, fasten the pie pieces, but leave them loose until all the connecting plates have been attached. With all the pie pieces loosely fastened, pull each one individually towards the outside to properly align the turntable. Using the pen jig spacer tool, tighten the 4 screws we previously added in step 7. With the jig still in place, tighten the 3 long bolts added in step 6, but be careful not to over-tighten these bolts, as that could lead to misalignment. A good way to tell if you're over-tightening is if the jig can't be easily removed. Lastly, tighten the center screws, added in step 5, the ones that connect the pie piece to the center bearing. Repeat this step for all remaining screws. Next, add grease to reduce wheel wear, noise, and vibration. Using a grease gun, apply generous amounts of grease along the center of both the inner and outer tracks where the support wheels roll as the turntable rotates. Be sure not to ride on the turntable while rotating, as this can cause serious injury. Once the turntable is greased, it's time to install the top panels. Start with the centerpiece, followed by the pie pieces. Each top panel is numbered. You can find the number on the underside of the panel. To assure accurate alignment, it's essential that you lay these out in numerical order. There are 2 top panels for every underlying pie piece. Using the M6 by 16 mm screws, fasten the panels one by one, leaving them loose as you go until all the panels are in place. We highly recommend this is done using the T-handle hex key, as it's possible to over-tighten using a power tool. Next up, place the motor on the outer track motor location. To do this, loosen the vertical and horizontal bolts and back out the table side horizontal adjustment bolts to allow the motor to fit in as far as possible, and then move the gear so it can fully engage with the pins. Use the vertical adjusting screws on the mount to move the gear so its center is just below the center of the pins, making sure the gear is level when doing this. Now, lock the motor in place using 4 3/8" anchors, 2 on each side. Next, use the horizontal adjustment screws to back the motor out of the pins, about 1/8 of an inch for the gear backlash. Now, tighten both vertical and horizontal nuts and screws, locking the motor in place. Finally, grease all the pins around the edge of the turntable, but don't spin the turntable while doing so, as this may cause injury. Place the motor cover over the motor and secure it with the M8 by 12 mm screws into the M8 standoff on the motor mount. You may prefer to delay this step if you're planning to use an electrician to complete the motor installation. Next up, collect the ramp pieces and lay them out around the turntable. Lay the first ramp piece on the opposite side of the turntable from the motor, and then place the other ramp parts on either side. There should be 7 pieces on each side of the first piece, and there should be close to equal spacing on either side of the motor, like this. As you place the ramp pieces, maneuver them to maintain a 3/16 inch gap between the top of the turntable and the inside edge of the ramps. You can use a spacer tool to do this. Carefully check around the turntable to make sure you've achieved proper clearance. Next up, use concrete anchors to secure the ramp pieces that will be used regularly. It's not essential to anchor all the pieces, just the ones that you think will be used most. Tighten the anchor and then mark the stud at the top of the nut with a marker. If the anchor protrudes, trim and discard the exposed threads. Finally, insert the hole covers over the incline, like this. The construction is now complete, but before your turntable is ready to use, you'll need to have a qualified electrician power the motor. This is the control panel. You will find inside 2 remotes, 1 antenna, and it comes with an extension to mount the antenna outside the control box if desired. For more information on how to maintain your turntable, please consult the instruction manual for more specifics. If you need more assistance or would like to provide feedback on our products, please contact one of our customer service representatives at 866-796-5975 or visit us online at carouselusa.com.